Okay, Mr. Kenobi, thank you so much for joining. Can you hear me, Mr. Kenobi?
Yes, I can hear you now. Better.
All right, great.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Barrister Sim Adam will also be joining us very soon.
Okay.
But before he joins us, let's just look at some topical issues that we may be looking at this evening. So we'll begin with the case of River State, as Tinubu's government has been urged to arrest ASari Dokubo over threats to disrupt oil production. As a matter of fact, it's not just ASari that has threatened. Other militants have also threatened in that regard. We will also look at that matter and waiting they cause them threats. But police say they are vowed that they would deal with any militants that is threatening oil production in River State, that they will deal with them squarely. Now, it's important for us to look into this River State matter because it is some things where they hidden, where they inside this River State matter. And it could be important to make a look at them. Well, that's actually the reason why I thought to bring this conversation to the fore so that we'll look at it. Still on River State matter, Nigerian Supreme Court explains judgment restoring Amehulu's led assembly. They have to now explain, and we'll look at their explanation. The militant group Spitfire threatens all production courts. That's what's happening here. I will move to Lagos Assembly, where Lagos Labour Party is weighing the 36 pro-Miranda lawmakers to join them. And then we'll move to other issues. 2 fighter jets have mistakenly bombed village. 15 casualties are recorded. Again, because this is not the first time it's happening. Now, Natasha insists that Senate illegally suspended her over sexual harassment allegation against Akpabio. We'll also look at that. Ex-presidential aide Obonobla faults Senate's 90-day suspension of Natasha says it's illegal. In fact, other lawyers are saying it's illegal and they're faulting that suspension. And there's also an explanation here as to why 13 senators did not sign Natasha's suspension report. They abstained themselves from that. Moving on to other issues, I'm sure we're aware of the killing of a Reverend father in Kaduna State, as the US have condemned such killing and calls for justice. So we'll also look at that issue. US court blocks Trump mosque from shutting US ADF after director argued spending 60 million to entice northern Nigeria from joining Boko Haram. Okay, so these are the issues we'll be looking at very quickly. So I like us to start with the conversation around the bomb blast on innocent villagers. As 2 fighter jets have mistakenly bombed a village during a drill near the North Korean border, injuring 15 people. Now, this is not a Nigerian matter, but the reason why we had to bring this to the fore is because we know, say, these kind of things don't happen for Nigeria separate times and at different locations. But why would they talk about that one? Maybe we just quickly go visit this case of this death of this Reverend Father and then, give a perspective to them. The United States mission in Nigeria have expressed deep distress on Friday today over the tragic killing of Reverend Father Sylvester Okechukwu in Kaduna State. Now, Okechukwu was kidnapped on Tuesday this week and later found dead. He served as a pastor of St. Mary's Catholic Church in Tachira Kaura local government area of Kaduna State. Now, the US is worried because to them, it looks more like, even though that's not expressly expressed, but it looks more like a persecution of Christians in the North. So do you see this as persecution of Christians in the North, Mr. Kenobi?
Well, thank you very much, Precious. It's a good thing to use this platform to continue with our talking about the various issues that happens in Nigeria.
Yes, please.
I mean, it's a very, very good thing. You have passion for things that concerns this nation, and it's a very, very good thing. So, looking at what has happened, various issues that we're going to deal with today. Kaduna, Reverend Father being killed in Kaduna as a result of kidnapping issues and stuff like that. I wouldn't typically say that it's some people can have that of the Christian people that belong to Christian faith. It's right to of the thing. If you say you might be wrong, but because it's not clear, because I mean it's not fun. Unfortunately, the Reverend Father that was kidnapped and killed, it's really unfortunate because if you look at what happens in Kaduna,
okay,
especially the
Mm.
southern Kaduna has suffered some kind of senseless, killings, kidnappings of people, people dying in administration. It was pretty rife. Now it continued. I don't if anybody comes out to tell you, look, they just want to annihilate, the person might not be wrong. Because I mean the killings in the southern area of Kaduna, it's usually very massive when it will happen. But generally speaking, if you look at Nigeria, you find that insecurity, pervades the land, the north, east, west, and south. Whatever that is happening in the north happens in the south, it happens in the east, it happens everywhere. Kidnapping is in the east, it's in the south, it's everywhere. So specifically, if like Reverend Father died in the hands, the question would be, those that kidnapped him, did they ask for ransom when they did? If they did, how much? Because I didn't personally hear the story. If they did ask those that kidnapped him, maybe if a little investigation could be done, if it's a normal country, one will find out the reason why he was kidnapped. You understand? And then why he was kidnapped and killed. Because kidnapping is one, killing is another. So if they asked for ransom and the ransom wasn't paid, we know that is the modus operandi of those kidnapping business. They do it. Even when ransom is paid, most times they still kill the victim. So I really, it's not yet clear what either they were asking for or they didn't ask for. But unfortunately, the Reverend Father died. And then we generally have to look at the stance of the government, because government exists anywhere in the world for the people. And what's the government's primary responsibility? It's to save or safeguard the lives of people and property. So if people can be killed like this, like various other people that have also died and nothing happened, the non-state actors are criminals are having kind of a field day and field time doing their business, and nobody is really checking or confronting them. Basically, I'm easy for if the day to come out to tell you what's happened. We usually add the word pray that it doesn't happen again. There are no conclusions to be able to put in place, confront these people and make sure that they bring peace to the land. Really unfortunate that he died, and may so rest in peace.
Thank you. Amen. So, Prince Francis Chilaka, you recall that this is not the first time this is happening. He did the time where we say, in fact, they don't burn Reverend Father for inside this country. Go in house, burn now. Say this thing then don't they happen. And this will be the first time where any foreign mission don't complain about this matter and liken them to persecution of Christians, especially when that's just Christmas Eve bombing happened. Most international communities also react like that and liken them to persecution of Christians. Because if you look at most places where we say things like this, they happen for inside Nigeria, they always happen, most of the casualties, they always be more of Christians than any other person. So now the US mission is calling for investigation and maybe bring the perpetrators to book, but do you see anything changing? Because this is not the first time it's happening.
Well, first and foremost, who are the perpetrators? We're living in a country where those who we have borrowed, so to say, our sovereignty to, don't seem to know what to do with it. This is the same Kaduna State where the governor, his commissioners, his SAs, they all sat down with bandits to negotiate. And we were told that, he has entered into an arrangement with the bandits, and that the bandits have agreed that they would, give up their arms. And I remember saying something that period. I said, at what point did they have that kind of agreement? And I asked the question, I said, how much were these bandits paid? Because we know that the whole essence of banditry, the whole essence of kidnapping, the whole essence of, killing and all the things going up in the north, in the south, in the east, is all because of money. They're not doing it out of love of this country. They're not doing it because they say they are patriotic. No, they are doing it because of the money they are making from it. So how much did the Kaduna State government pay to the bandits? Maybe the money they paid to the bandits have expired. So they have, they've gone back to start, what they're good at. But you see, why I'm really worried with what has been playing out in Kaduna, the American government, they're not wrong to view it from that perspective of, a cleansing situation. Because if you recall, when the late Patrick Yakowa was the governor of the state, if you recall, it was more like they didn't see him as one of their own. And I'm talking about the Muslims. They saw him as an infidel. And so they wanted him out. So the Kaduna State has been a state where they feel that if you're a Christian, you have no right to aspire to be governor of that state.
Now, what's he make Erufai talk, say, he don't make sure, say, all the top positions for the states, now only not Muslims then go occupy them and say nothing go out. Now, what's exactly like that?
Exactly. Hey. And if you recall, he was bringing the same mindset to the federal level when he insisted that there was nothing absolutely wrong with a with a Muslim ticket. So we have a big problem in our hands. And, and that problem, we all seem to be glossing over it. The government seems to have this, this laissez-faire attitude of, it doesn't matter. It's not what you think it is. But it is something that is becoming very, very toxic. The country is getting very, very toxic. And the rate at which priests, especially of the Catholic faith, are being kidnapped, some they pay ransom, some they get killed along the line. It is very, very painful. I do not know why anybody will go and kidnap a priest. It's not that you're fighting over a priest, whether the priest is running after your wife or your girlfriend. I mean, from what we know, the Catholic priests are not supposed to be married. They're not supposed to have any relationship. So I don't know what it is that the bandits, the kidnappers have seen with the Catholic Church and especially with Catholic priests. So yes, we're calling for investigation, but all the ones that have happened in the past, what is the outcome of the investigation? A country where you believe that a bandit, a kidnapper, a terrorist can repent and you absorb the person back without consequences. So how do you want to resolve it? It simply means that the government is complicit in what is happening and the government is enjoying, what is happening in this country. So for me, whether you call for an investigation from now till tomorrow, it's not going to change anything. The only thing that will change the status quo is when we begin to have maximum punishment for anybody that's been involved in kidnapping, involved in terrorism, involved in banditry. The punishment must be such that it will sink, it will be loud, so that people will not want to go into that business anymore. But between you and I, kidnapping, banditry, terrorism is not as defined abroad, but it's a business that Nigerians have taken upon themselves.
All right. So why you they talk, Barrister? I see Madam just join us. I hope say in network will feel let her make if you join the conversation proper. Barrister Sim, I don't know whether you hear us where you did. I don't see you for the studio, but it will like say network they try boot. So Mr. Kene, very quickly to you. Not be smart, you know. We hear say yes. But Barrister Sim, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. So good to see your face today. We cannot hear you. We can't hear you. Kindly check your audio, sir. We cannot hear you, sir. If you're using your earpiece, please detach the earpiece. We can't hear you.
Earpiece, okay.
Detach the earpiece so we can hear you now.
Hello.
If you detach the earpiece, we can hear you.
Yes, so how are you doing?
Well, fine. But Barrister Madam, they say your brother Emefiele, they say the talk say making forfeit 2.1 trillion naira with thief. And people say one person, human being, thief 2.1 trillion, one person, thief a whole 2.1 trillion.
You see, the point is very clear. You know, Emefiele, you know, in my place, they say a thief is a thief. Whether you steal 1 naira, whether you steal 2 million, whether you steal 2 billion, a thief is a thief. And it's inborn, it's ingrained, it's embedded. So when you have people like Emefiele in power, that is why Nigeria is backward. And that is why you find out that, I've said it before, a thief will steal 10 naira from the purse in one of the markets in Lagos State. The Nigerian police will do what? You know, arrest, handcuff, beat the guy to a pulp, then send him to court and they send him to jail for stealing 10 naira. But a man who stole $1 million, what happens to the man? Policemen will use siren to take him around. Even when they send him to court, what happens is that the man will have a special place in court that he is going to stay. You understand the point? So what gives you that impression is that they are all thieves. So why are they treated differently? That's the question we should be asking ourselves at this point in time. So it's sad.
Okay. So maybe it is because the amount they steal is much. So when they cough, you know, everybody catches cold. But you know, when you steal 10,000 naira and you cough, nobody will hear you coughing. So it depends on the amount you are able to steal. And that is the unfortunate thing that, you know, if like I said before, we have a system that does not punish. And if you have a system that does not punish, crime will become the order of the day.
All right, I think we've lost Barrister Sim Adams, but let's begin to delve quickly into the conversations of the day. I don't know if we should begin with River State. I really want Barrister Sim to be here. You know, River State is his territory, so I don't know if we should begin with River State or we should go straight to Natasha Akpoti's case first, and then hopefully we'll go straight to River State. So, the embattled senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has vowed to continue to serve her constituents despite her suspension from the Red Chambers. Now, the Senate on Thursday, we all know, suspended Mrs. Akpoti-Uduaghan over total violation of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended and embarrassing the Senate President and the Senate itself generally in entirety. That was what they said. So as a matter of fact, she's responded to that. Now, you'd recall that the lawmaker was barred from all legislative activities. In fact, from parading herself as a senator, that she cannot even be seen or heard as a senator, right? Now, in its reports on Thursday, the Senate Committee on Ethics established that Mr. Akpoti-Uduaghan violated the rule of the upper chamber in a change of seat controversy that ensued during plenary 2 weeks ago. So as a matter of fact, she is now responding. Despite acknowledging her petition against Mr. Akpoti-Uduaghan, the Senate voted against her, you know, against the culture of silence, intimidation, and victim shaming My unjust suspension from the Nigerian Senate invalidates the principles of natural justice, fairness, and equity, she said. So she's insisting that she was maliciously suspended because she had accused the Senate president of sexual harassment. I'd like to take your, thought on that, Mr. Kenobi. We're coming to that. While I take your thought on that, there's been quite some reactions about that, but we'll get to the reactions. Mr. Kenobi, go ahead, please. Mr. Kenobi, do you hear me? Oh, network. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Fire on, please.
So yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the drama has been going on the past couple of days, generated by Natasha and Ice. It's laughable. It's laughable in the sense that I think the matter kind of divided sharply the opinions of people, and these opinions is born out of different emotions and perspectives and people's understanding life, how they see things, how they want things to be, or how things have been for them. So you find that in our society, patriarchy has really been very prominent, in the things that people do, especially men. I'm a man, all right? And the kind of imbalance in the society created by men, backed up by culture and the other forms of institution, like religion, even the laws of the land. When human right human being, that right enshrines that, look, everybody have their personal rights as a living being. And therefore, if you bring it to Natasha and Akpabio with regards to them being, in the Senate, you would find that everybody was voted. Akpabio was voted the same way Natasha was voted into the same chamber. The last time I said, look, I said what I understand about Parliament is that everybody is equal, right? But of course, the same people that are equals try to vote for some aspiring members to govern the Senate. In other words, you have hierarchy and all of that, but everybody is equal. Now, if Senate had their rules, which I understand they do, but then what my understanding of this rule is now with the whole revelation that is coming out, it's almost like if a senator kills somebody in the Senate House, the Senate will cover it because they say whatever that happens in the Senate remains in Senate. That, for me, it's something that I can't wrap my head around the rationality. I can't. Because if anybody tells me that, for instance, the Senate president, of course, that position supposed to, before they elect somebody into that position, they're supposed to check the person's public mannerisms, check him on some kind of conduct to be able to elect somebody that can hold that institution to the highest esteem as they make us believe, because it's an institution respect so much. But I can tell you for free that those who have occupied that chamber in the past, they had better behaviors.
All right,
they had better decorum, right?
All right. Yes.
Are you there?
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. So, yes, I am. I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. But Barrister Sim, you just rejoined. Now, quite a couple of lawyers are saying that Natasha Akpoti's suspension was illegally done, as a matter of fact. And former presidential aide Obonobla has also speaking. He also said that Natasha's 90-day suspension was very illegal. In fact, some people there of the opinion say, first of all, the standing rule for inside the house, according to their order book for their order 20, they say if you go against the Senate rule, say now 14-day suspension they will give. So where they come manufacture a whole 90 days where they can't give her. You understand? So now we see some people that they talk. You be lawyers. So now I want make you just talk first before barrister. I say barrister, Mr. Chilaka go talk. Because I not say your angle, they always they different. So that Mr. Chilaka go take you from the other side. Go ahead,
you see, let me tell you. The Senate or the Parliament have their rules.
Yes, they do.
And their rules, the rules govern what goes on in the House.
Absolutely.
For instance, in the House of the Senate, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, where there is what we call parliamentary immunity, and that parliamentary immunity is expressed and given to senators, House of Rep members, or members of the Parliament, that how they conduct their affairs inside the Senate does not concern anybody, including myself. But where Natasha can speak is if, for instance, they denied her what they call fair hearing. Because the Senate rules cannot override the Constitution. And the Constitution talks about fair hearing. That is under section 35. Downwards, you see what it calls fair hearing. That everybody must be given fair hearing. So now, what has happened in the Senate is that Natasha was given fair hearing by, bringing to her and submitting to her the allegations against her. And Natasha elected not to answer those particular allegations. It's like when they give you a query and you don't answer the query. You cannot go back to court to say that you were not given fair hearing. That is not possible. Natasha was given fair hearing. Assuming they did not give him notices of the hearing, then she would have gone to court to, expect fair hearing. But in this case, are you aware that the Senate are the ones that created their standing rules and orders? They can amend it at any point in time. Once they get 1/3, 2/3, they can amend it to suit the whims and caprices of, the Senate, as the case may be in this situation. So me, I believe that those who are saying you ought to be given 14 days, I don't know where the rule says it's 14 days. That is the punishment. The rules that I know in the Senate is 60 days. And it is not Natasha alone that this 60 days punishment has been given. I have forgotten the name of the particular senator that was suspended for 60 days, I think last year. What the senator did was to apologize to the House, and he was readmitted, to the House. Natasha cannot create her rules. I know, even though, like I've said before, I don't support sexual harassment, but Natasha is making this as a distraction. The Senate has the standing rules, and you must have to conform with the standing rules. If they did not serve Natasha the notices of the offenses she committed, then I would have said she has a right to go to court and do whatever she wants to do. But she was served those notices.
So Barrister, are you disregarding the fact that there was a court order stopping them from further investigating or hearing or going through that hearing or following the hearing? The court order being there to stop them from going through.
Cannot stop the Senate. There is nowhere in the Constitution. There is nowhere in the Constitution that the court order can stop, for instance, a court from sitting. There is nowhere in the Constitution that a court order, can stop the National Assembly, I beg the Senate from conducting their affairs, then you are going back to a military, whatever, dictatorship. It is only the military that normally suspend the legislature from performing its activities.
So, Barrister,
and under the doctrine of parliamentary immunity,
okay.
Under the doctrine of parliamentary immunity, I state categorically and unequivocally that the Senate have that premature independence to conduct their affairs in what manners that they deem fit. The only area that you can begin to talk about the Senate is if, for instance, they did not follow what they call fair hearing, and the Constitution will now look at it. But you cannot, a court cannot stop the parliament from sitting, for instance, except you are planning a coup. Except you are planning a coup, then you now suspend the National Assembly or the Senate from performing their duties. That is just my take.
All right. Prince Francis Chilaka. Prince Francis Chilaka. So would you say that based on what Barrister Asim said, say Natasha actually get fair hearing as in talk? Now remember that, first of all, she did liken the outburst when make her disobey that rule. Saying that because of, say, Senate President Akpabio don't consistently indict her, do things where they stop her from her legislative function to her people. By first of all, they remove her illegally or they remove her anyhow for inside a committee where she the chair. Secondly, some travel and tips, the pegs where she's supposed to get, then go stop her from going just because say if they ask her out, she no agree. So, and then would you also say the Senate deliberately dealt with accusation that she, you know, where she accused the Senate president on sexual harassment? Was that properly dealt with? Let me take your
let me start from where Barrister stopped when he said that there is no law that can stop the Senate from sitting. I agree. Yeah. No law can stop the Senate from sitting. But what we're talking about sitting is not the Senate. It's a committee of the Senate. So there are two things involved here. We're not saying that the Senate shouldn't sit, but we're saying that a committee of the Senate should not sit. Now, my argument is simple. If the National Assembly or if the committee of the National Assembly throws away a court injunction, Barrister Asim, are we not heading towards anarchy and a banana republic? Are we not heading towards a situation where people will stop obeying court orders? Because what is playing out now is that nobody wants to obey court order in Nigeria. Not the police, not the DSS, not the Senate, not the executive arm of government. In other words, Nigeria is heading towards anarchy. Now, bringing it back to this whole shenanigans, we need to ask ourselves, the offense committed, does it warrant 6 months suspension?
Yes,
that is one.
Yes.
Two.
Yes.
Two. We also need to ask ourselves, I am taking us through a journey. If you read what Shehu, the former senator, put up yesterday, it is mind-blowing. He said that the reason why no senator wants to support or show support for Natasha is because when you do that, you will also be faced with serious punishment. In other words,
so
we are not saying that the Senate
with the hierarchy.
That is sentiments. That is sentiments.
So in other words, we are saying now that the Senate has become a court. And this is the reason why most times the Senate will not want Nigerians to know what they're doing. Because there's a lot of things the Senate is doing that is not to the advantage of Nigerians. I believe that the Senate has spent so much time trying to punish Natasha. But during the time of Saraki, we saw what played out between Saraki and Senator Akpabio. And we saw the maturity displayed by Saraki in handling the matter.
Akpabio apologized.
I'm coming, sir. I have a problem.
I'm sorry with due respect.
I have a problem, sir. And that problem is that we are still living in medieval times in Nigeria. Nigerian men believes that the woman should have no say.
Apologize to the Senate. The other one apologize to the Senate.
The Nigerian man believes that the woman should have no say. And that is where the problem lies. I believe that if it is going against the rules, we need to also identify at what point in time those who come from other parties, why are they giving preferential treatment? Why are they being given preferential treatment in the Senate? These are people who have come from the party that brought them into power, and then giving them preferential treatment over those who are already in the Senate. It is not fair. So whoever sat down to make these rules has also made the same mistake you have in your constitution.
Precious. When Chilaka comes down, right? I want to ask Barrister Sim a question.
Unfortunately, he's out of the house now, but I hope that he gets back into the studio very soon. So
okay, so let me.
Oh, sorry, can I hold on 1 second? Those who wrote laws or the rules governing the Senate have also committed the same blunder with those who wrote the Nigerian Constitution.
Are they not the ones that wrote the Nigerian Constitution? They are the ones that make laws.
Are they the same people? Oh, yes.
No. Senators are the ones that make laws. They make that constitution, right? If the constitution talks about fair hearing, principle of fair hearing, and they didn't adhere to that, they are now looking at the fact that whatever that happens in the house remains in the house. So they are a law unto themselves. That's what they're saying. And we know that the constitution is the ground norm. There is no book, there is no act, there is no department of government that is bigger than the constitution. So why are they making it look like, oh, the Senate rules in the House is bigger than the Constitution? But I wanted to ask Barrister Sim a question. The question I want to ask him is, you see, lawyers are part of the problems that we have in this country. I can tell you, if you sample this opinion to 10 lawyers, 5 or 7 will be on one side, the other 4 will be on another side. So are they looking at the law that is supposed to be coded law, that has simple and open interpretation? Are they interpreting the laws with their emotions now, or they're interpreting the laws the way it's supposed to be? Because there are some sons that have said, no, the Senate, the Senate House took a wrong decision. 60 days is too much. They even quoted the Constitution. They even quoted
6 months. 6 months. You have 30 days each month. It's 6 months. Each month has 30 days. Each month.
So every lawyer is talking from the way they understand this whole thing, and everybody have divided opinion. So who are we going to believe?
What's the question you have? What's the question you have for Barrister Sim? You said you had a question for him, Mr.
Yes.
Barrister Sim, I have a question for you. The question I have is, now you said everything that the Senate did against Natasha is right.
It's all okay.
And yes. I have say what?
I say yes, it's okay.
It's okay in your own opinion.
My opinion.
Good. Now, are you guys lawyers interpreting the Constitution and looking at matters legally? Are you using your opinions, or you are interpreting it the way it's supposed to? Because a few sons in the legal business have been able to look at what the Senate did against Natasha, and they said it is not fair.
Because you are
so what have you got to say about that? Because you said that the Senate are in order. I just want to know.
Yes.
Because this whole thing brings problems everywhere. If we look at lawyers to be able to help us to interpret what is going on legally, they tend to deviate, they tend to say different things. We don't even know what to believe anymore.
No,
okay, so go ahead, Barrister.
Excuse me.
Go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Because you are a judge, because you are a senior advocate, does not make your opinion correct. in some issues. That is why we call it legal opinion. Legal opinion.
But the legal opinion is divided. So who are we going to believe? I didn't say his own is correct. I'm saying which one are we going to believe?
It will be divided. If you go and read the book by Jeremy Bentham, he talks about the principles of open justice. It depends on how you see it. Your interpretation, just like the pastors in the churches today, pastors interpret the Bible the way they
don't even let's go there. Is that not why we're having problems in Christianity and other religious bodies? The way they interpret that same book. Don't even let's talk about that.
Everybody is interpreting the law to suit themselves.
I'm coming. Let me learn.
Exactly.
Let me learn, please. It is called hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is a branch of knowledge that deals with interpretation. In law, we have rules of interpretation. 1, golden rule of interpretation, literary rule of interpretation, mischief rule of interpretation. Then Lord Denny now added what they call purposive rule of interpretation. The purpose why a particular drafter of a section of the Constitution made it or put it there. Now, the purposive rule of interpretation for me, and that is what some other lawyers are interpreting, is that the Senate wants discipline. It's like a school. When you send your child to school, there are codes that the child must follow, and he by those codes to be a student in that particular school. If the child breaches those particular codes, the school has the right to punish that child. But when the child is punished outside of the codes that the school said, then you cannot go to court to say, no, they breached this rule they said. The Senate have the right to formulate their rules, and which they have done. They also have the right to wield the big stick from my own knowledge and interpretation of their standing orders and rules in the House for disciplinary measures, as the case may be. Natasha is not the only person. It's not the only senator that has faced that particular committee.
So
Natasha's own case is different. Natasha's own case is different because it borders on sexual harassment. Forget about the fact that she broke the Senate's rule, right? Her own case is different.
Distraction. Natasha is doing this because she needs some kind of traffic on a code or whatever.
That's what you think now. No, that's what you think. That's what you think, but I don't think it's true.
But this is preposterous.
I don't think it's true.
Make us speak English. This is preposterous. For you to assume that a woman who was sexually harassed
I don't think it's true.
is coming out to say that she was sexually harassed just because she wants to drive traffic.
Who was sexually harassed shouldn't
we're all human beings now.
No, I don't think it's...
Gentlemen, please. She is not the first woman that has accused the Senate President of sexual harassment. The Joy Nunye, your sister, my Ogoni sister, that accused Akpabio of the same crime. That even said she slapped him. Was she also looking for traffic? Was she looking for traffic?
Where do you see today? In Nigeria.
Way.
So let me
sorry, Barrister, let me say this, and I will say with all sense of responsibility. The problem we have in Nigeria today is the problem of the men.
Exactly.
Until the men come down from their high horses,
we have to stop.
Until the men come down from their high horses and understand that the woman has equal rights like the man, this country will not move forward.
Natasha she's behaving senatorial, whatever. I don't.
Okay, I agree. I agree that Natasha. No, Precious. I agree that Natasha is not behaving the way the men want her to behave. But the question I'm going to ask is, Why are we not looking at the reason why the outburst? Why are we not looking at the fact that the woman is saying that I have been sexually harassed, I am being intimidated, I am being, dealt with because of this. And that is a problem. Why are we not listening? Why are the Nigerian people not listening? Why are the senators, the men in the Senate, why are all of them keeping quiet? I listened to Senator, what's his name? Bamidele. How can you be calling somebody's wife by past 12 in the night? What are you looking for? What are you looking for? And you admitted that you called her and that you were with the Senate president. In other words, she never said, she said you called her. So it is now the content of the call. Exactly. So it is the content of the call that we are all looking for. She said you called her and she told you that, are you threatening me? Now you say you called her to make peace. And then when the line cut off, you called back the second time and handed over the phone to the Senate president. See, the Nigerian men are not being sincere, whether we like it or not. They are not being sincere. And that is where the problem lies. They are not being sincere.
Compounding the problem.
This is the reason why. This is the reason why a lot of
case
women,
is a case of sexual harassment.
Hold on 1 second. This is the reason why a lot of women who are in abusive marriages, who get raped, don't go to the authorities. I have witnessed where a child was raped, and the father, the girl's mother, went to the police. And at the end of the day, they said they should take the child to the general hospital for test. The school went behind, other than intimidating, and settled the man, and the case died there. And this is what a lot of girls, a lot of ladies are facing in this country. Because the moment you speak up that you have been raped, you become a laughing stock. You become stigmatized. So, and I'm saying that is why I'm disappointed with the lives of Senator Itagiwa and Senator Babagana Kingibe, Ireti. Because these are women. They should look beyond the fact that she obeyed rules. They should look at, why is this child crying? Nobody's talking about that. All they're saying is that she disobeyed rules. And then because she disobeyed rules, which you people sat down to make, you are using an AK-47 in a stick fight. That is what the Senate has done. That is what the Senate has done. Because what the Senate has done, I am telling you this, go and note it down. What is playing out in the Senate is going to play out in the entire country. If this thing goes the way the Senate wants it, no woman in this country will ever open her mouth to accuse a man of sexual harassment or rape. And it's a bad precedent that the Senate is setting.
Yeah,
and they need to correct it.
You're so right. Because I mean, this is the body that makes the laws. And if they cannot make laws that can protect the female gender, then the country is in trouble. You are very correct. You are so very correct. And
all right,
yes.
Okay, go ahead. Just let me let you land on your thoughts.
Just to cap the whole discourse here on this matter is to let the whole the whole country to know that Nigeria and indeed the whole world has come of age. There are certain things that cannot be hidden anymore. I mean, internet can record anything and you can record them at any time that you want. You see this, Natasha has pushed beyond what any other person is saying, beyond what anybody is saying. Like I told you, anybody that is going to be the SP anytime, any day, the body should endeavor to check the person's conduct, check him to be sure that he's such that can carry the entire house and maintain the sanctity of the house. Because Akpabio hasn't done well. I can tell you that for free. It's not only Natasha. It's not only like I talked about. I listened to Itagiwa the other day on television when she was defending. You see, politicians in Nigeria, both male and female, they usually, it's just all about personal interest, right? And Itagiwa has been out of, favor, if you like, mainstream politics for a while now. So I guess, she's kind of looking for a favor, because the way she defended Akpabio, you will be asking a question, what does she want? But then again, people have their own opinion, all right? Then I look at even the King Gibe woman and a couple of other, see, when you see conquered women, yeah, who either had normalized that kind of lifestyle, but they are in pain in themselves, but maybe being in public eye, being a politician, they don't want to talk, because politics in Nigeria is still about favoritism. They don't want to talk so that they don't get, the stick the next minute. Everybody will tend to keep quiet. So that culture of silence, like she talked about, is been like that for a long time. And I think it's about time it's broken, because Natasha had done something that would register in the minds of the young folks who might want to go into, and the generation of today, they can't really keep quiet. The ladies, the females of today can't keep quiet. And then she has really challenged their conscience, and I bet you the fire has just started.
All right.
It really doesn't matter what Senate do to be able to silence her, but the fire has started. That's what I think.
Okay, so I think I have somebody join the conversation, and I'm sure they have a question for Barrister.
No, I have a question for them. Natasha should go and make bills. Natasha should go and sit back, do research on bills that will benefit the women folk and her constituency.
Bills that Akpabio will still shut down.
Barrister, please. Are you saying that you are going under the allegations she has made against the Senate president? Is that what you're trying to say this night?
Allegations made against the Senate president are personal allegations against the president of the Senate. It's between Natasha and the Senate president. They have been hobbling before now.
No, sir. What a minute. Remember that she's saying. Remember that she insisted that those allegations, that because of those allegations, he stopped her from performing her legislative functions.
My sister Precious. Natasha traveled with Akpabio 3, 4, 5 years ago before this thing came up. Can you tell me what they have been doing in the secret places? Can you tell me? Natasha.
Hey!
Nigerian men will always be men. That is the problem. Nigerian men will always want to be men.
So I have to say about this. If you want to jump in on this very quickly, yes, please.
Precious and everybody on the panel. Good afternoon from Georgia.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and thank you for giving me a moment. Listen,
I better not like help us speaking, or sometimes we forget ourselves. Look, just a blender. People understand us well. Go ahead.
Listen, you see, the fight when women all over the world don't fight for over 2-3 centuries for the voice of women on the globe to stand in the things and affairs of global matters, starting from the little communities when we did. In Nigeria, it has just suffered a setback of almost 200-300 years by justice action from the Senate. We have said our Nigerian women, we don't take them, go back to olden days where the rest of them don't waka come up from for ages. It pain me to hear a barrister, is a barrister Sim, Abi?
Asim Adams, Barrister Asim Adams.
Barrister Asim Adams. Well, with all due respect, Barrister, the world don't move on. We don't pass where you did so. We don't pass where Nigeria did so. We don't pass where this our Senate did. Well, now, not say this thing when it happened for Nigeria this Thursday, I did before yesterday. It don't go around the world.
So Nigeria matter don't reach everywhere like this.
It inside, my sister. I day here. And
what is asking me the year?
Huh?
Nancy Pelosi matter. The way Nancy Pelosi was treated, you know, he reached Nigeria now. He reached Nigeria. The way Trump cleared Nancy Pelosi when that's supposed to tear this thing, he reached Nigeria. So I don't know.
Allow me. Make I tell you this. The voice of those stepdaughters, house girls, secretaries for work, female bankers, students for school, even married women, when I don't shut them down by virtue of this action. Tell me, when we get women, when they become CEOs, multi-billionaires in the world, women when they make policies, women when they get voice, women when they shape things all around the world, that's what they speak today. In Nigeria, when they talk of Senate president as Papa of Senate, in a place where him and Senator Akpoti, now colleague, it just so happened that Senator Akpabio is in front of the gang. You don't make Senator Akpoti, no, they're not dash him that seat when she gets so. Her people look at her and they felt that she could fight for them. That's why they put her there. And it didn't matter if she was a woman or not. At this time when we did, look, in a few days, not be today, I'll be tomorrow. If I go ask you, Barrister Singh, they celebrate Women's Day tomorrow or thereabout.
Yes, 7th. Yes, tomorrow.
What do you
International Women's Day.
What do you feel say as a message, looking at what they go on for your country and your Senate today? Which kind of message you go feel put out to women in celebration of them? Do you think that the Nigerian woman with this action that has just taken place can and should be celebrated? Now my question to you be that. You don't have to answer.
Let me answer it. If I can answer it, I am very proud of Nigerian women. I am very proud of my sister Precious in the studio there. I am very proud of late Senator Frank Afegwa. I am very proud of Senator Ita Giwa. I am very proud of Senator Oluremi Tinubu. I am very, very proud of Fela Mama, the mother when born Fela. I am also very, very, very proud of our sports athlete called Modupe Oshukoya. I am very proud of Nigerian women. They were harassed sexually, but they maintained their rights.
So here's my follow-up question. Here's my follow-up question to you. Yes, my follow-up question. All of these women, when you mentioned, so did any one of them, did they shut down their voices? Number one. Number two, were they given a level playing field for wherever position or office when they feel do what they do, when make you the today, they say you are proud of them? Were they shut down? Were their voices tamed? They tell them, say,
Natasha, sir, with due respect, sir, let me tell you, a woman like Senator Franka Afegwa, she's late now. She was the only female senator. In fact, she was the first Senate senator in Nigeria. In the midst of, hyenas, I'll use the word, I'm sorry, with due respect, open and close, hyena senators. You have senators like Joseph Wires. Senator Joseph Wires was like Akpabio. And I want to say with due respect, she was not cowed. She maintained her ground. And I want to say today that if you look at what she did by her position being a senator, bringing development to Edo North, where I come from, Auchi Polytechnic, the rest of them. It was by virtue of Senator Franca Afegwa. She was so beautiful, natural beauty than Akpoti.
Barrister, if you take the beauty thing out. Listen, my question is this. Was she given a level playing field to do everything
she was not given a level playing field. She fought for a level playing field.
Barrister, you are saying she fought. Barrister, calm down. Barrister, calm down.
With dignity. With dignity. She fought for a level playing field. With dignity. You understand?
Here is what I say. Here is what I say. It is and with all due respect, please, everything when I talk. All right? It is a big shame. Now, big shame. Say in the 21st century, this modern day world, when we did so, our Nigerian men still they think the way that they think when they believe, say, the powers of the woman, the Nigerian woman, only belongs in the kitchen. And
no.
All right? And they are only supposed to speak when they are given an opportunity to speak.
No, I don't support that.
Hold on. Because that's the interpretation that the world they look at right now as they talk. So, because on the web and everywhere, believe it or not, your former president's statement is coming back up that the woman belongs in the kitchen and the other room.
No, I don't think
that's the reference when they make for Nigeria when it comes to women's rights and privileges. We have subjected them, we have made them, relegated them to the back. Forgive my English, precious. We know they give them voice to speak for whatever reason. Take a look at your Senate, 109, only 4, 90 women. And those 4, they're not even there together just because of the high level of testosterone when they're inside the Senate. And if they speak out, they feel say they go shut them down, which is just what happened to Senator Akpoti. She spoke out. Look, at this point, let me tell you, if this was to be where I am right now, as I speak to you, believe you me, whether Senator Akpoti flaunted, violated, or did whatever she did to the Senate rules and regulations and guidance, the fact that she cried out to say this happened automatically puts the Senate president on the side. And they look deep into that. It matters a lot. They will still investigate whatever she did that violated the rules of the Senate and the laws. But the Senate president cannot be the policeman, the judge, the jury, and the executioner of whatever was put in front of him, which is what Akpabio did. Senator Akpabio did a few days ago. It never happens anywhere else in the world. How do you call that fairness within the Nigerian system? And you are telling me of those few great women who fought against such injustice in the past and did what they did. Maybe they didn't get a chance to cry out. Maybe they stomach everything when they go through their time in the Senate, but it has to change. You are telling to go back and write bills that will speak for women, but you're not giving her on the ground. And the right to speak, should they tender a bill before the Senate president or before the Senate, and the president shut them down? You tell me. For women, you think that this Senate, this very Senate, when we get so, you think that
let me say this with due respect, sir.
So I get to dodge.
With due respect, I love my mother, my late mother. I love my sisters. I love my daughters. I have 2 beautiful daughters. And I always talk to them on a daily basis. I'm telling them why being a woman is not a mistake. And they have tried in their different professions. By virtue of the fact that they said, my daddy told me this, and so they are so independent and have spoken. I have followed this particular issue, why you see me talk about Natasha this way is this. The right time Natasha ought to have spoken is when she was doing those travelings with Akpabio. Not as a senator. They traveled some years back together. They were friends. What happened between them? Natasha is not the only female senator in the House. How come that she's been sexually harassed and the other 3 or 4 are not being sexually harassed?
They have not
Senator
spoken.
I'm coming, sir. I'm coming, sir. Senator Ireti Kingibe is in the Senate, and she even reprimanded Natasha's behavior. You have some other 2 women in the House. There are 4 of them. Why?
Reprimanded her behavior in the sense that she's not supposed to address the Senate president, or that she's not.
She didn't reprimand her for saying that she was being sexually abused.
No,
she said
no,
she reprimanded her because she said she did not follow the rules.
Barrister,
no,
was she not supposed to have said that you and I know
for sexual harassment before the Senate. That is my grounds against her. She had patronized. She has been transactional.
Barrister, calm down. Barrister, if I get you right, your grounds with her is that you believe that she had more intimate relationship with the Senate president before she became a senator.
Absolutely.
That's what you're trying to say.
And she did not speak out.
No, but Barrister, you know that you are being very judgmental by that. Are you not saying that she had no life before becoming to the Senate? And that even if she had something with the Senate president, please, even if she had something with Barrister, calm down now. Barrister, calm down. Barrister, calm down. Even if she had something with the Senate president before coming to the Senate, as at that time, the question I want to ask you, was she married? Was she married at that time?
I'm coming. Can I answer your question? Do you know that my daughters, I told them, if any man harasses you sexually and touches you wherever you don't like,
Your microphone is mute.
I am trying to see. I think he muted himself by himself mistakenly. But it's as if you can hear us, please kindly. Yes, you muted yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, sir. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you now. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so
go ahead, sir.
With due respect to Natasha, I believe she was not properly brought up. I must be very frank with you.
Wow.
That is a
wow.
Natasha was not properly
brought
up.
Barrister, this is unbelievable.
Oh, Barrister, no.
To say to anybody. Honestly, for somebody's life. Barrister, no, this is not fair.
No.
This is a typical chauvinistic mindset.
How can you say that as a man?
So we have to leave this conversation and move to River State issue because we have other issues to handle.
Are you aware that in the Senate, a particular senator told a female senator, I will give you bele. Ma use pidgin English, say, I will give you bele. Are you aware during the Buhari era?
That was Senator Dino Malaya and Senator Reverend, our current first lady.
How did the current first lady, how did she react to that particular whatever?
She fought
Dino Malaya.
She fought with him. She addressed the matter well, and she was allowed to address the matter.
She played the video. She fought him. There was a fight.
She fought with dignity. She fought with dignity. This, I'm sorry, let me know. I don't want to go into a lot of things. Let me know. I'm coming. I'm coming. Because the whole of you and Natasha are all against me. But I'm saying with due respect that I don't hate Natasha. But I think if I have to go through a proper upbringing, I don't want to go into that again. But certainly, in Africa where we are, you know, these things do happen. But how the woman will uphold her dignity is the most important thing. For me, I felt so sad.
Let me put it to you. Do the men uphold their own dignity? How do the men uphold their own dignity? We are just talking about women. The men that are working with us, all manner of side tricks. How?
I don't want to call his name. Dignity is far from the person, the other side. Dignity is far from the other area. So when you are dealing with an undignifying situation and you have brought yourself to disrepute, then you have brought maggot-infested firewoods, you know, to your compound. What do you expect? You are going to get lizards. That is what is happening to Natasha. And let me tell you, others are going to come.
You mean that is what's happening to Natasha, Senator Akpoti? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what I mean. The person that you are talking about.
No, be a man. Come on, be a man. Talk. No, nobody's going to do it.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes.
Be a man. Let's speak. You are making reference to Senator Akpoti.
5 husbands, 5 different, you know, I mean, my brother, let's change topic.
Come off it. How you go bring the woman personal life into this? Don't you see that? You are speaking so cheapishly, and forgive me, as a learned barrister that you call yourself. That is a very way that you speak about the lady. How the other man, when he bring 25 women or thereabout to Senate the other day, what do you have to say about him? Where is
I criticize him. Even the one that married a 14-year-old kid. My articles are on social media.
Personal life. That she married to 6 women, 6 men. Or
barrister is sounding like a misogynist.
What has that got to do with her competence? Now,
it sounded like a misogynist.
And
no, I'm not saying it's I'm just saying my mind.
Okay? Now, Senator Akpoti is more.
That your mind is very parochial. Very parochial with regards to man-woman relationship.
For me, this matter, we don't even need to discuss it. Burning hours here.
Oh my goodness.
That is,
you see why we do You see why
this is not comedy. This is not funny.
The court. Nothing is going to come out from it. From the courts, I assure you that there is not going to be judgment in our favor. Let us continue. There will be no judgment for her.
You say that.
I'm telling you. I can predict our birthday. We are going to see the next 30, maybe 1 month.
All right, so gentlemen, appreciate
yes, nothing.
Let's let this conversation lie. So it's everybody don't hear everybody's side. Mr. Ikenobi, well, Mr. Ikenobi, our flagship, appreciate you. And Prince Francis Chilaka, thank you so much. Barrister Adams, thank you so much. You're my barrister, sir. Well done. Thank you very much.
Yes,
your positions for these conversations don't be very known. Everybody don't understand everybody's position. So I think we should let this sleep and go to what's happening in River State, because River State is another hot area where Barrister Sim is likely to also differ with Prince Chilaka and Ikenobi very soon, because River State is
It's my brother.
All right, so moving on to River State issue, a lot they happen for inside River State. First off, as it concerns the crisis where they happen for River State, some people, the River State Restoration Movement, they don't demand the arrest of prominent Ijaw leader over alleged threats to disrupt oil production if Governor Siminalayi Fubara is impeached. That is Mujahid ASari Dokubo. He been threatening, say if anything happen, make they impeach Fubara. Say they no go like what they go see. I don't know whether make I go play on that video again. I been make I just leave the video, make it rest, because if for good, make I not play the video, make I leave it okay. And then not just that, other people too don't they threaten, say make they leave, because in River State now, they are looking at the fact that first of all, the deputy governor to Sim Fubara na Ikwere woman, the speaker, Ikwere man, Martin Amehule. So if there is any impeachment, that means power will go back to Ikwere. And this is the first time in this present democracy where Ibise and a job person, they take power for inside River State. And this one, don't they lead to almost, they build up ethnic tension for inside River State. So I would like Miko respond to that. But before we respond, some people, they for backyard, I think there are some people who want to quickly air their thoughts on the conversation. Let's just let them come in, air their thoughts and leave the conversation. Then we'll jump straight into the River State issue. Hello, Cornelius, you're welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, good evening. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, welcome.
Yes, I'm calling from London, so I'm on my way going home. I had wanted to comment because I'm a barrister myself. My learned friend in the studio.
Go ahead. Cornelius. Hey, my brother Cornelius. Now your network do you like this? Hello, are you there? Oh, it's so unfortunate. Oh dear. Cornelius, I don't know if you're there, if you can still hear me. Unfortunately, we can't hear you. Okay. Let's let him out and then let someone else in. We've lost Barrister Sim again. Let's see. Hello, good evening. Are you there? African Solution. Are you there? Hello, are you there? African Solution.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so go ahead, make your contribution very quickly so that we can move on.
I was just listening to Barrister, and I was ashamed of him coming out public to say stuff like this. It is a big shame that, the people that we're supposed to look up to, you understand, in Africa, in Nigeria, they come in public space and they make statements like this, bringing down on our women, is a very big shame. He's coming out to laugh over it, and this is national. I live in America and I listen to this. You understand? When we come out, these are the people robbing Nigeria, bringing our image to mud. And it's very, very bad, So I decided to, I don't know how one can express them, but it affects me. You understand? It affects me too as a youth.
Right to their opinion
No.
now.
Of course, everybody get right. But at the same time, they get right to misbehave in public. But they make the youth feel like, say, we will not get rights to do what we like to do. Or they have right to commit to do all kind of atrocities. They get right to express their own view, even if it don't make sense. Whether they bring Nigeria into mud, concern them. But we personally don't get that same right where they get. You understand? When you come online, they say, oh, be careful what they talk, be careful. But when did they act dumb? When did they do all these things? I was seeing it. When did they behave like this? They think about the image. Where did they portray? They make our own people look outside. They make us look like joke. Come on, have person like Akpabio do that kind of thing. Okay, I use myself for example. I did work. You understand? When they talk about leadership, these people, none of them deserve to be leader. They need to promote them completely. When they talk about leadership, you're supposed to live an exemplary lifestyle. When they do anyhow, supposed to they learn from them. I know they proud to say I'm from Nigeria. That's one. Because when I see all of them with the leaders, starting from governors, senators, commissioners, everybody, you understand? They shame us. And it don't mean nothing to them. They know my wing will come out for national TV or come out for online. When you don't know millions of people where they watch this thing, they talk anyhow, they talk. And they call himself learned man, barrister.
No. You know, go talk to anyhow they talk. He has a right to his opinion, even though he may not agree with
you. He has right, but I hear his statement. Natasha, I don't know who be Natasha, but they follow the matter up, right? But at the point, you understand, they make what they do be say, you get statement where one of the guys here made say, it took them years waiting women they fight for, and it took them just a little to bring them back again. You understand? People like this, what they do, even if they're not right, you understand, they destroy the whole image of our people, they make us look for Western world, look like the women no get right, they treat them like men, they treat them like slaves. You understand?
Right.
Thank you so much. They complain, Natasha, the complainant. You understand? They're supposed to listen to her, and I was saying something about my job. Then they treat me certain way where I no like. Now me go complain. As I complain, the leadership will do that thing. They strip them of in position first, bring them down, then investigate that matter. This is in the Western world. After they investigate, they find out saying they're wrong. They build evidence. Despite saying that their own people, no you person. You understand? They write them up. Now, so it's supposed to be. This is not very simple. This is both for our own place. All of them wants to be, waiting the name, you get position. You understand? You get a name to do anything way you like. And they hear all of them for Senate, they come out, they talk nonsense, all of them, both PDP leaders, and all of them, I go tell them this is a wake up call to Nigerians. Next election, more na go vote, waiting vote, more na no start. Fight, defend your vote, make this kind of set of people no come out, no near that post again. Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
one
Thank you,
Nigerian,
sir.
one African man with the vest like other people too. Thanks.
No vex. No vex. No vex. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Sir, sir? All right, go ahead, sir.
Look, you know this joint congressional session when it just happened this week. Senator Al Green, when Trump get up, they talk about Medicaid, Social Security. Senator Al Green jump up, shout, yell back at Trump inside the session. Guess what? They escort him out of the hall, right? As punishment. When he got back to Senate, both parties call him up for disciplinary measure. Democrats and Republicans together. You know, party people not say because he be Democrat, make them support the wrong when he do. Now, the same thing now we look for our country. When now we will get there, when our senators go look beyond personal opinions, godfatherism, and all of that nonsense when we play there, so and do the right thing for the people.
All right. Okay, so let's go straight to that River State issue. Now, River State, they like very hot bread. Make I even read out some of those things because it be like say some kind tension with the brew now. We don't know as it go use court. As a matter of fact, concerning the threat, so it say some people they threaten for River State. And make I even read more of that threat. Tension has been heightened in River State as the dreaded militant group Niger Delta Rescue Movement (NDRM) warned the federal government not to withhold the allocation meant for the state or face a total cut in the oil production. Now, it also issued directive to all non-indigens to consider their safety and leave River State as hostilities were about to escalate. That's what they said. They said quite a lot. But then police for River State don't respond to them, say that they're ready to deal with anybody who would do anything to cut off oil production in River State. Say all this tension they build because of waiting they happen with Wike versus what they call him, Similai Fobara, the governor of the state. And this one don't they lead to a lot of wahala. But make we just go play a bit of that video where we say ASari Dokubo they threaten on waiting to happen if then dare to impeach Fobara from office. Look, listen to it.
But if I don't advise you, I stake my life, I stake everything. I stake my businesses, my source of livelihood for you to become president. And if I am unable to tell you the truth, if you are in your government, I have to stake everything for telling you the truth. I have started doing it now. I am staking everything to tell you the truth. It is left for you to hear, but the result you will see. I did not see Wike until my friends, my associates feel that, oh, there's a need, let us go and see Wike, and we went. And since that day I left, I have never gone there. Even when I'm supposed to call him, I didn't call Wike. I'm saying it live. He's there. I didn't call him. I don't have any personal problem with Wike. I don't have any personal problem with him. I hardly have personal problem with people. I say my mind. If you don't like it, okay. President, let me tell you, if you allow Wike to push this as he's doing, it will be very difficult for him to even come to River State. It will be difficult for those 27 House of Assembly members to even have a place to stay in Rivers State. It will be difficult for anybody if they think that they are going to impeach him and the job people will allow it. It will be difficult to impeach him. Mark this word I'm telling you. God knows. Nobody. It will be difficult to impeach him and bring a governor. It's not going to be possible. Go and ask in Ondo State. Go and ask in Delta State. The fury of the job people. They don't give a damn. They are hardly afraid of. I'm telling you the truth. The earlier you hear this, you accept it. Call wicked. Call wicked, call sane. Let them maintain the status quo. That is the only way. If they don't, Alamesia impeachment was Ijaw. So the person who succeeded Alamesia was Ijaw. Goodluck Jonathan. He became vice president and became president. So it is not Alamesia's matter. Try this one and see what will happen. Try this one and see what will happen. A word is enough for the wise.
Okay, all right, gentlemen, we've heard that. We don't hear the threat by ASari Dokubo, and we're back to getting into that conversation. So, how we think say be the best way this matter would they handled to avoid further escalation or breakdown of law and order for Rivers State? Meanwhile, there are factions of people who say that subtly it be like say some faction of people actually want the trouble to happen so that they will declare state of emergency for the state. You understand? So let me start with you, Mr. Kenobi. Go ahead, please. Mr. Kenobi, can you hear me? Mr. Kenobi, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Kenobi?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yes. You go ahead.
So you see, yeah. So what's playing out in Rivers State? Everybody, it's all about, you can hear threats and counter threats. But you see, it is now that you get to know whether Nigeria has any non-state actors, right? I mean, these things are personal. The Supreme Court had ruled it behoves the governor to adhere to the court rules and then do the needful normally, right? But
yes,
now the governor seemed to be a bit confused because, I mean, when you are defeated, you're defeated. I'm not looking at whatever Wike set up and all of that. All we're looking at is the fact that when the governor was acting in his own way, people were advising him and all of that. He made some kind of mistakes, which they have used against him because the Supreme Court ruling was strictly on a few misbehaviors here and there that contravenes the law. They're looking at the law, right? Now that it's like this, I said last week that Rivers State is a state that is prone to political violence, and we know. And because Rivers State is very, very strategic to the nation called Nigeria, our country called Nigeria, because of the oil that comes from that place. The federal government will have to tread softly. They don't have a choice but to tread softly. However, the Supreme Court ruling, Fubara has to find a way to commit to those things that he needs to do, however uncomfortable those things are. But if he begins to listen to like ASari Dokubo, understand that always his interest always entrenched on where he thinks the money is coming from or the favor is coming from. Because sometimes when ASari talks, he talks as if he's bigger than the federal government. Nobody can, put him where he's supposed to be.
Thank you.
He talks anyhow. The government of Bola Tinubu was inaugurated. He went to the State House. He went there and then put out his own interest, telling the president, as was inaugurated newly, that he's ready to do business with him, talking about him trying to guide the oil installations in the Niger Delta. And the president allowed him to speak, and overshadowing the security apparatus that we have, be it the military, the Navy, and all of that. He made those institutions look like they are irrelevant, that he and his boys are going to do the job.
Mr. Kenobi, did he just make them look irrelevant? The federal government never still react to the fact, saying, he helped them they fight bandits and Boko Haram, especially
now. What's at the talk now? Now the same thing with the talk. So all the time when
that means they actually give him the contract to help protect too, and that's what he's doing. Because if to say
no, whether or not
they beat in chest, they talk out.
The contract they never give. I mean, just offer, right? And then you can see the only person we don't give him something now to hold. Now Fubara. In all of this waka waka when don't waka from federal to everywhere, right? As he has made him now the traditional ruler, that is at least something to hold on to. Do you understand? But you see, the bottom line is River State has to be, the federal government has to tread carefully. I don't know, because if you give the previous happenings, in Nigeria and how things they go, you go see if they know tread carefully. These guys, militants that are up there, they have different interests now. But those that don't come out today to talk, say if they impeach Fubara, the governor, that they will let hell come down on River State. They need to tread carefully. Even as the police, they talk, say, we're on them, they can't do nothing, they're just threatening. That was a good solution to this whole problem. The House of Assembly, they coexist and try and make sure that they maintain peace. If they don't handle them like that, there will be trouble. And when the trouble starts, we don't know where they go. That's on my own.
Right, so before I go to Prince Francis Chilaka, flagship, even my Niger Delta brother, so make a take on you on this matter. And you understand the terrain for Niger Delta. If you're from Delta State, you don't see the way the Ijaw, Urobo, Ishikiri crisis, they use the happen. And sometimes all this territorial control follow for waiting, they also cause wahala now and then. Now, during Wike regime, you understand, make I even start chronicle from the beginning of this democracy. Peter Odili was the governor of River State for 8 years. Peter Odili from Ndoni. Ndoni, they share boundary with Ebe, my Nemo State. Do you understand? So they are perceived as upland in River State. And then Peter Odili ruled for 8 years. Amechi take over Ikwere Man, which is upland, ruled for another 8 years. And then that is why Amechi wanted a Dakuku Peter side to win the election, so that a riverine person, because River State is like it's divided into two factions. You have the upland people, which are, the Echie, the rivers, my people then, the Echie, the Ikwere, my Ndoki, and all those other people then, and them they upland. And then you also have the riverine people, which are basically the core Ijaw people, where you have the Boni, the Opopo, the Okrika, the Kalabari, the core Ijaw people. Now for the first time, when the Kuku Peace side no film win the election, who is supposed to be an Ijaw man, we know how Amechi, how Wike toppled that election, as it were, because you're not supposed to be an Ikwere man ruling again. Now Wike insisted and did an 8 years tenure. People now don't para say the majority of the oil deposit for River State. Now the riverine area deal. Now their water, now Ibi say the oil they spoil pass. So why Ibi say now? An Ikwere person, even though say Ikwere see themselves as a domineering or dominating ethnic group for inside River State, Ikwere don't rule for 16 years. Nobody worry any Ikwere man when they rule. Nobody stopped Amechi. Nobody stopped Wike when he was ruling. Why will an Ikwere man think that he has to dictate to an Ijaw man how he would rule, even though say he help him come into power? This is the bone of contention in River State right now. So it has become an upland versus a riverine fight, or an Ijaw versus non-Ijaws fight. And that is why ASari Dokubo made that threats where he say he make for that place. How do you see this matter to continue? Considering say people like Ateketom, where he say Wike been give chieftaincy position during a time. Now Ateketom don't they like say he don't they foresee him for Barat side now too. So when you have heavyweight former militant heads, stroke traditional rulers now, like Ateketom and Asari Dokubo, on the side of the governor, and these people have their own militia groups, dreaded ones. How do you see this panning out in River State? Go ahead, Flagship. You can unmute yourself and go ahead. I think you muted from earlier. Go ahead, please.
You hear me now?
Yes. Sorry, sir. Take time. Yes, I did hear you. Sorry, sir. Take time to lay that background.
No,
make people understand what's going to happen for Nigeria, for River State.
No problem. No problem. You see, I agree with Mr. Kene for what he talked. The people when they deal with so now people when they're home, they know the terrain, they know the place, and you're right. Why they would dictate to Ijaw people on how to rule and how to govern themselves or the state? Now, big ant hill, now that they play with so. And when you disturb this hill, when you open and the ants start to come out, everybody go collect. So it makes sense. What it be named for Abuja now, FCT minister? This fight.
Yes, on Wike.
Yeah, you and I know say, not be for himself. There's a special interest there when they fight this fight.
Like who? What's in the special
interest? You know how Lagos be, and you see what they go on for Lagos. They want to turn River
they
State,
tell us.
You know, but the River people not go agree. Again, it goes beyond say Ijaw man and the rule now. So none is just the one control and dictate what will happen. Yes, the resources there for the water side, the Ijaw people side. Remember how long the Ijaws don't suffer for this. Their environment, their communities, pollution, and all of this.
Environmental degradation.
Yes, degradation till date when they never fix for them. And the government, they oppress them. Now when we say, now they are torn, then they won't dictate for them and withhold funds. It's not going to play out easy. So, yes, if Asari Dokubo talk, say, now what he go do be this. Make the government be mindful, say, now people want to the terrain, now they deal with. And if you decide to go head on with them, it may not look good. And lastly, make them do what they can to avoid turning River State to what Imo State be right now, where we say now unknown government when they go on. Now
this one where you talk, they're very critical, make you no go turn to Imo State. Okay. So Prince Francis Chilaka, you know how dicey and critical River State the oil production, the oil exploration. And then you also know how important it is to winning election for any president. Do you think that this is something the president is willing to gamble? Do you think he's willing to give a Wike all of the power to go all out and fight Sim Fubara? And do you see Wike and the federal government winning this fight against both Sim Fubara and the rest of these, the things will go happen? Make I not just quotes. Considering, say, this militant, they even like say they get their own military separately. We see that the way Wike, when Asari they train his own militia group and all that. So do you think that understanding, say first of all, military food for inside Southeast too? Governments, Nigerian governments get the luxury to use commot military for Southeast now to go fight for Port Harcourt. Based on this matter, can they risk that? Or can they remove them from the northwest where they are or northeast where they are to come and fight in Port Harcourt? Is this risk worthy for a just risk for the president to embark on?
If you have had opportunity to listen to Senator Adams Oshimole a few days back,
okay,
you will understand that Nigeria of today is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. You will also understand the fact that those we call our leaders are not leaders, but mere rulers. They are only interested in what they can get from the entity called Nigeria and not what they are ready to add to build a nation. The crop of people we have today as leaders are not people who want to build a nation. Because if you want to build a nation, you must be ready to give and take. You must be unbiased. Our president today is very biased. Our president is already thinking of 2027 rather than thinking of giving the dividends of good governance and democracy to the Nigerian people. And that is where the problem stems from. Your president believes that with Fubara as governor of Rivers State, he may not be able to have his way in Rivers State come 2027. On the other hand, Wike has promised Mr. President that I will deliver Rivers State. And so that is why he's acting with reckless impunity with everything he's doing in Rivers State. Like Flagship said, they must be very careful. I've been saying it. They must be very careful so that the unknown gunmen that have taken Imo State hostage will, if it comes into Rivers, it will be disastrous. Because there are too many people in Rivers that are wielding weapons. AK-47, call whichever weapon you want. They have it. Now, for me, I said something a few days back, and I will still say it. The solution to the problem in Rivers State is simple. I've taken time to read through the explanation of the Supreme Court with respect to the case they just gave a verdict on.
Yes.
First and foremost,
they talk say these people they know even the camp at all.
Good. No, but first and foremost,
they say the 77 lawmakers the camp.
No, the Supreme Court has brought in technicality into the whole matter. And when the Supreme Court wants to sound politically correct, they will use technicality to handle the matter. This is a country where we all know, we all heard these people saying that they have left the party. Now the Supreme Court is saying that there was no written letter. I beg, I want to ask a question. How many politicians they become when they write letter, say they want to come? How many of them? Two, we must also not forget that when Mr. President invited Fubara to a meeting in Abuja, part of the conditions that were given to Fubara then was to withdraw all the court cases he had and that they should return back to status quo. So if the Supreme Court is saying that Fubara withdrew cases, have they forgotten that Fubara as at that time was acting under the directive of Mr. President to withdraw those cases? And if you remember, we also said at that time that Fubara has shot himself in the leg. And I will maintain a simple solution in Rivers State is that these people, these 27 or 26 or 25 honorable members should calm down. They are acting like people who are, they're acting like a pregnant woman that is 6 months pregnant, but is behaving like someone that is already 9 months pregnant. They should calm down and allow peace to reign. First of all, you tell the governor to resubmit the budget in 48 hours. The next thing you ask him to sack all its commissioners. And you want to tell me that there will be peace in that place?
Okay, so speaking about telling him to sack all his commissioners and resubmit the budget, I think I have somewhere, I don't know if I can still get that footage. It is somewhere where it be say, even him, Wike, don't talk in the past, say, how dare senators, how dare House of Assembly members give a governor ultimatum, that ultimatum will not hold us. So just go ahead and look for that footage and play it.
No,
so I'm wondering if we could not abide by an ultimatum. Precious,
be very careful of Nigerian politicians. Be very careful of them. If a politician says good morning to you, you need to go outside to confirm that it is morning and not evening. The Nigerian politicians are the most, unreliable set of human beings. They are never sincere. Everything a Nigerian politician is telling you is about his own personal interest. There are too many things Wike has said that if you listen to it, you yourself will be ashamed on behalf of Wike. But Wike is not bothered. This is the same weekend I told you that if you go to APC, what has APC got to offer? Today he is serving under the same government.
So he left malaria to follow cancer.
I would say this. Wike needs to realize one thing. What has played out in the Lagos State House of Assembly cannot play out in Port Harcourt. What played out in the Lagos House of Assembly is nothing but the death of democratic norms. And I feel bitter that we have a president who claims to have fought for democracy, who claims to have risked everything for democracy, who calls himself a Democrat, and is allowing the kind of impunity, recklessness that happened in the Lagos State of Assembly. And is allowing people to drag his name into it. That is the one behind it. So it is what has played out in the House of Assembly in Lagos that we can also replicate in Rivers State.
You think say no go work? You think say no go work?
I go tell you, no, wait, calm down. You know, say, when non-state actors begin to hold sway as state actors, there's a big problem. ASari Dokubo has always been talking. Nobody don't arrest him. You remember when he said he was going to shoot down Nigerian Air Force plane? Tell me, the things ASari Dokubo has said since this government came into power, are they not more than what Nnamdi Kanu, that is still being held in detention, have said? I go back to Adam Toshimole. Adam Toshimole made a remark, and that is very interesting. Adam Toshimole said that the amount of force, the amount of military presence, police, that the Nigerian government deploys to quell oil bunkering, that they are not doing the same thing in the north to arrest those who are mining our natural resources illegally. And Toshimole said it. And in conclusion, he said that the federal government is applying double standard. One standard to curb those who are, they believe that are stealing crude oil, and another standard for those who are mining our gold and taking it away. So if the guys in the creek are telling you that they will disrupt oil production, Precious, you and I, we are all in Nigeria. We know what happened during the reign of late Yaradua. And we know why the amnesty program was introduced in the Niger Delta. I do not think that this government has what it takes to quell the madness of these militants that are talking already. I do not believe they have. Because you and I know how many soldiers, how many Navy officers were lost in the creeks when they were holding sway. So I would call on this government to tread softly. I would call on this government, especially President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am calling on him. He should call Wike to order and allow peace to reign in Rivers State. Because when the Unknown Gunmen Act that has taken over Imo State starts in Rivers State, I am telling you, the whole Southeast will go up in flames. Because it will no longer be, the sit at home you are seeing on Monday will be a child's play to what will play out between Rivers and Delta State. Go and note it down.
Okay, I think I get a few excerpt of that thing where at that place where Adam Soshimolo talk. I don't know, maybe the beginning or the end of it, but let's just take a listen.
In many parts of the country that is going on. And they are being manned by retired generals, and we know them. Yes, we know them. Nobody can pretend doesn't know them. I did a letter to former President Buhari, because somebody I sent to go and conduct a primary somewhere reported back to me, a retired general of Northern Instruction, told me that, look, Adams, you are worried about the challenge of conducting primaries in Zamfara. The challenge you see is there is far more than that. And if it's not dealt with, Nigeria will not know peace in parts of the country. And this gold go all the way through all to Kaduna. And it up to, yeah, correct. And he told me that those involved in this illegal mining, they use choppers. They procure arms exactly the same way as our military were doing in the South. They give them arms. They use choppers to come and cut away the gold. And they take them out of this country and make billions of US dollars. And the federal government is not doing what it should be doing. I took this letter to the former president when I was national chairman of APC. And I said, call the general to give you more brief. In fact, what is happening, or what subsequently happened in that part of the country, was exactly what the general told me was going to happen. Because these guys have been weaponized by the illegal big men who deploy them, secure territories, and the weapon is meant to protect the Chinese and other foreigners who they actually employ to carry out the mining. And on occasion, they use the same weapon to carry out banditry, kidnapping, and all of the terrible things that are going on. Chief of Committee Chairman of Defense Staff, tell the defense I said so. That, yeah, that some retired military officers, army officers are involved in it. The day we can't tell the truth, this country cannot flourish. We can't change our, when it affects our people, we are at our best. We talk strong. Some other people appear to be above the law. That is what is going on with solid mineral. It is not that we don't know where it is. We have a whole survey of where we have what across the length and breadth of Nigeria. We also know, everybody complaining about certain people from certain nationalities. How they got here, even as we are talking now, they are doing those illegal mining. And those guys are getting richer when Nigeria State is getting poorer. But we carry the consequences of banditry, kidnapping, and that which these on illegal armed men, which they equip. Sir, who can afford to buy a chopper to land in an illegal mining site, cut away gold, return to Sediti, and then on the way to airport, bam, take them out of the country? This is happening. So I agree with you, but
Okay, so I'm sure that was the video you were referring to, Prince Francis Chilanga,
yeah.
That the video we talk about with that. So he did talk a lot of things, so because from the beginning of that video, I don't think I quite captured the beginning. He talks say governments know they balance the way they say they use handle things, the way they use strong hand handle militants and for Niger Delta, and they protect the oil for Niger Delta. So they know they carry that strong hand, they handle people where we say the thief are gold and all of those. And this thing where you talk about the gold, they're very significant because the thing don't cause environmental degradation for some. In fact, I went to Osun State the other day. Do you know that the whole Osun River, that Osun River that it's like, I'm not sure say any fish go survive for that water. The river,
because of gold,
like dust. Because of mining, illegal mining activities. So you kill the entire aquatic ecosystem just because of the greed of a few people. And guess what? The governor of the states, they handicap. If you do anything, because where did they come from? Federal government. The people where they mine these things illegally.
Nigeria is a country where
give them the power. What kind
Nigeria is a country where you say the governor is a chief security officer, but he has no powers. So I wonder why you call him chief security officer when he has no powers to do anything. If he wants to move the commissioner of police to do something, he will first of all get approval from the IG. So what are we talking about? Please let the Nigerian police not say that they can they can handle the Niger Delta militants. They will not be able to. Even the Nigerian Army and Nigerian Navy will not be able to handle them. But all I am saying is that let those in power not allow us to get to that state of anarchy.
All right, Mr. Kenobi, you were trying to say something. Can you unmute yourself and speak?
Right? Let me add.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me add this, Precious.
Sir,
you are wondering what kind of a country do we run? Good. So you see that when I talk about vested interest, I'm very big on that because personal interest, vested interest, whatever you can talk about interest has really destroyed this country. And I will tell you for one or two reasons I will mention.
Okay.
In 2009, I was in America. And then I think it was a time when BP, British Petroleum, right? They were drilling oil in the Gulf of Mexico.
I hope so. Not be that spill. Not be that period where that spill happened.
They spilling.
Okay.
It was a drill at the middle of the ocean, right? Then the pipe, I think the force of the it had to blow, the oil started, coming to the surface of the water. They tried all they could, day and night. Every day they were working to stop that oil spillage. But it happened for like, I think 1 or 2, 3 weeks continuously until they managed to cap it. Before then, it had, it had come to the surface, and then a few aqua life died and stuff like that. Okay.
Yes.
The fishermen in America, British Petroleum, oh my God, they were sorry for themselves for that mistake. The first money they brought out was about $60 billion. Before you realize what was happening, litigations everywhere against the company. In fact, it got to a level where David Cameron had to call President Obama that time to beg him to say, look, this company is dying. They brought out $60 billion to settle litigations. People, just for that mistake alone. Then if you now look at what has been happening for decades in Niger Delta.
Oh, goodness me.
Look, I don't even want to talk about it. Sometimes we just have to speak. But you see, so far is painful that we live in a country that have refused to be a country. I mean, create systems that will work. It's crazy.
Thank you. So just before you speak, Flagship, let me quickly let Nigerians know that they can join the conversation. So click on the link on the pinned post. It will carry you straight into the studio so that you can join the conversation, and then you excuse yourself too. And if this is your first time joining us, so again, follow us like a village people. Click on the subscription button. Make it just go follow us as a village people. If possible, turn on your notification button so that you will know when they go live. Make it for follow us. Flagship, go ahead, please. Thank you.
So, thank you. I want to add to what Mr. Kene talked just now. So, you see that 2010 oil spill, when it happened in the then Gulf of Mexico.
Absolutely.
Right, BP, 9 days in charge. Now they are
British Petroleum.
Yes.
Yeah.
So apart from the fact, say the money when they pay, you say it was 60 billion. It was more than that. You know why? Because from Texas to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the state of Florida, every one of those communities that were by the shore of the Gulf, everybody got paid. Now, it took 2 weeks. They go to the bottom of that water, as deep as it was. They lock that valve up, close them. And guess how many days it take for them to clean up? As big as that expanse of water be, 88 days, 90. And guess who paid for them? British Petroleum. No community they involved. They don't want to get them involved. They don't want to hear about how they go take clean them. Not them.
Absolutely.
Make. So
absolutely.
They cleaned it, Even as far as to bed, Precious and Mr. Kene, everybody when he patch for that oil.
Yeah.
When oil enter a body,
exactly.
And they can't in that water.
Sometimes you gotta wonder whether we'll be human being like these people.
Can you imagine that? And then Ogoni land, they write they tell them, say, it will take 30 years to clean them up. 30 years. But a huge expanse of land, as the then Gulf of Mexico, took 88 days.
Oh, God.
Flagship, let me ask you a question. Who are you blaming now? When we talk about slavery in Africa, when we open our mouth, we say our parents, our forefathers are sold into slavery. Do we also ask ourselves that questions? Who were the people behind that slavery trade? It's you and I. It's the black man. The black man has a problem. The Nigerian man has a problem, a thinking problem. Because your government, this government will say, we will use 8 years, 10 years to clean this. We know how many years successive governments in Nigeria spent building Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. So it's
that's
not
why
that
Buhari takes credit for it.
It's not that anything is impossible. Everything is possible. It's just that our leaders are selfish, wicked, and greedy. We do not have leaders who have patriotism running in their blood veins. We do not. And I keep saying it. When we had leaders was when we had the likes of Lex Mumbagwe, Lex Chakonde. The ones we have today are scavengers. They are hyenas. They are possessed. They are not leaders. And that is why this country is not moving forward.
But see where the thing they very surprising. Okay, so when the oil spill happened for years, the fishermen went there around the Gulf, they went to fish. Now that Obama at that time, he too knows they hot seat because the economy of all those coastal states, they dependent on fishing.
Yeah, state. Yes.
All right. They know what they lose economically. And each state know what they get from each fisherman. When they go fish, they sell and pay taxes to their state. So Obama at that point cannot in any way influence any decision on any of these.
Absolutely.
So the first directive to British Petroleum was shut down that pipe, close them, and no drilling activity must take place there until this is resolved. And even after they resolved that problem, shut the valve, in the whole water, it still took time for them to resume drilling activities there. It still, and before that, they resumed that. Every fine, every loss, every damage that was caused around those coastal states were paid for by the British government. And the
that thing nearly ruined the company.
Yes,
it nearly ruined their shares in the market fell like it crashed like anything. The company nearly died.
Even when they tried to come with the idea that, well, we estimate that it will cost $50 billion to do the cleanup. So let each community begin to do their cleanup. They're not listening to them. They ask them, you clean it up. And BP had no negotiations, no questions asked.
So why does this take us? Why does this bring us to in the River State issue? How on I see this matter? You know, it's like saying a chess pawn. You feel, say, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will risk all of this, giving Wike all of this power to go ahead to tell in 27 lawmakers to chase to impeach Tim Fubara, considering all these threats. That I'm just knowing that these threats are not only threats; they are threats that these militant groups can actually pull through. We know their capacity in pulling such threats. So do you think that the president is willing to risk it this much? Because the boys, they're not the shatters are one up and down. They already the ginger. It'd be like say hand they scratch them already. So do you think that this is something he's willing to risk just to ensure that Wike is in control?
Precious.
I know that he's desperate to also win the 2027 election.
Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You see, the mistake Nigerians made was to give power to the current president or to allow the current president to take power. That's the worst mistake Nigerians have made. To collect that is like, see, when you give a cup to a monkey, no problem. The problem is to collect the cup back from the monkey. Now that wahala dey. So anybody say won't collect power from this current president, this president need to sacrifice everybody just to remain in power. He has told you that power is not served a la carte. Grab, snatch, and bail. Una dey joke. How you want to come out power where you don't give Wike from Wike? Knowing also that Wike is another power drunk man. And Wike feels he feels that the tail of the tiger has been stepped on. And I'm with the tiger.
Wike fights all out. See, Wike they fight all out. You know, they get boundary when they fight. They come all out.
So, but you see, the mistake they are all making is to forget that you are here today, you can be gone the next minute. Anything can happen. Nobody lives forever.
In addition to that, one thing that if you remember, Obafemi Awolowo made a comment many years ago where he referred to Nigeria as a geographic expression.
Exactly.
And it is true, believe it or not, Nigeria is only geographically known as Nigerians. And unfortunately, the people who found themselves in that geographical expressions are calling themselves Nigerians, but really they are only in a place, a geographical region where these people come to do business in. Pretty much, we dey inside marketplace, nobody get the market, not be we get them. So those resources that you see there, the reason why the federal government, they speak so boldly like this, not be saying that because the wells or the oil when they get to belong to Nigeria, or it does not belong to Nigeria. Neither does it belong to the people in their eyes. Now, personal property. That's why they can speak like this. That's why they think they can risk so much to lay hold of it and lay hold of it forever. It does not belong to the people that are in that land, because if it did, they would have first developed that land, satisfied the people, and then allow the people to be at the table where they go sit down to discuss how they go explore these minerals, what percentage they go take, what percentage will go to the people, and what percentage will go to those who are in the mine. But as it is right now them get everything. The people not get anything inside. So they don't have any voice until the people change that narrative where they say Nigeria is just a mere geographical expression, in the sense that where they now so not be their land. Until they change them, it will continue as it is. And that's why I say to the Ijaws who are making these statements now, make them go for it. You fight for your land. Freedom does not come as Tinubu talker on
it's not a la carte. It's not giving a la carte.
No, you fight for it. And no great nation, including this America, when I did today, so they did not walk here and just got this land. They fought for it, they defended it, and they fought again. And they are still fighting. So if the people think say they won't make life good for themselves, they need to establish their sovereignty. They need to fight for themselves. They need to fight for what belongs to them. And let there be a negotiation. If the government has to come there, they are coming to negotiate with them. And the people have a right and a role in any decision that is made, in any form of exploration that is done on that land, until we change that narrative where they refer to us as people in a mere geographical expression. I'm sorry, we will still continue to deal with this mess when we deal with so.
So speaking about these people in a mere geographical expression, you do recall that just yesterday, the federal government released In fact, don't blacklist Simon Ekpa and some names where somehow appear to be mostly Igbo names as people where they sponsor terrorism. And they don't blacklist them, they don't freeze their accounts immediately out of recommendation. And the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu don't sign them. Now, a lot of people, they concerned people just talk, say, wait, how can you do that? Have you forgotten that in 2021 or 2022, the United Arab Emirates, don't give the same federal government some names of people where they sponsor terrorism. Till today, we never hear them. Now, the administration of President Muhammad Buhari be silent on those names. He no great talk about them. That of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also come into power. He says silent on them. I don't great talk about them. Some people come and talk, say, what is going on here? How is it that it's so easy to name these people because they are funding their Biafra agitation terrorists, and you call them people where they sponsor terrorists? But then the people where basically really cause the terrorism for inside the country, you never do anything about them. We'll finish that one, then we'll go enter inside a headers clash and the chaos will happen for inside the Enugu state now because of a farmers headers clash. Prince Chilaka, please go ahead.
Precious.
Sir?
You know, it's out of love and out of patriotism that a lot of us still believe in this entity called Nigeria. Ordinarily, what is being meted out to the Southeasterners is enough for every Igbo man to say, yes, it's enough for every Igbo man to say, I do not believe in Nigeria. You're talking about blacklisting people, calling them sponsors of terrorism and all of that. Have you forgotten that the Southeast is captured? Do you know how many checkpoints you have from Lagos to Owerri, to Enugu, to Abia, to Ebonyi, to Anambra? How many of such checkpoints do you have going from Lagos to Kano, Sokoto, Kaduna, and Zamfara? How many? These are questions. It is only when something involves the Southeasterners, especially an Igbo man, that you see government being very active and proactive. But when it happens to other regions, the government will tell you that those who are maiming, killing, kidnapping people in the north, and you call them all manner of names, that they are repentant, and you absorb them back. Why is government not extending the same olive branch to those who are agitating in the Southeast? At least in the Southeast, we know what they're agitating for. They're talking of marginalization. They're talking of lack of federal government presence in the Southeast. But no. But what are those in the North? What are they agitating for? Those who are kidnapping and killing people in the North, what are they agitating for? And who gave the government these names? How did the federal government come about these names? Are these names that somebody just sat in his kitchen or in his bedroom and wrote out and gave to government? So why is it that government has found it difficult keeping into the list? I think there's 400 people that are sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. So it shows you the double standard that the government keeps bringing. And this double standard, like I keep saying, would never allow that ideology called Biafra to escape the mind and heart of the Igbos. I thought that by now, with what IBB has revealed in his book, that the government should be thinking about how to, reintegrate the Igbos. That the government will be thinking of how to apologize to the Igbos.
Appeasement.
But no, they're not thinking about it. What they are thinking about is how to continue to perpetuate that evil that has followed the Southeasterners. So, no matter what anybody says, the Southeast, unfortunately, your so-called leaders in the Southeast have allowed themselves to be captured so that They are using them to now recapture their own people.
Unknown caller.
And that was why I said to you, when we talk about slavery, especially in Nigeria, who were those behind the slavery? It is the people. It is your leaders. Who were those referred to as Kotuma? They are Nigerians. They were not white guys. So it is your people.
So Nigerians were used against Nigerians.
It was Nigerians that were even, capturing those they wanted to send into slavery. It was your leaders. Your leaders were collecting cowrie and selling out their people into slavery. And that is what is happening in the Southeast. You do not have leaders in the Southeast. Let the truth be told. Because the things happening in the Southeast, look at when they held a meeting in the Southwest. Southwest governors came together. They forgot their party affiliations. They all came together to discuss how to move the Southwest forward. Nobody came there as APC, PDP, Labour Party, call it whatever party you have. But do you have the same playing out in the Southeast? Do you have the same? We've been talking about unknown gunmen. None of the governors in the Southeast have come out to tell us who these unknown gunmen are. We're talking about sit at home, and I keep asking, why is it that the checkpoints that are running through the Southeast, why is it that on Mondays they go on recess? Are they also observing the sit at home? These are food for thought for all of us.
Hey, okay. So on Mondays, the army people, when they do checkpoint, then they go for sit at home. When they sit at home finish, then they continue their hustle for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, Mr. Kenobi, you like to jump in on this conversation quickly because I went out to the one of my staff went out to the street and took a cross section, a reaction of some Nigerians on this conversation. I'd like to play it, but let me have your thought first before I do that. Mr. Kenobi, go ahead, sir.
Hear you. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
I didn't hear you. Repeat what you said.
You go like put smart for the matter. You go like put smart for the matter.
Yeah. I mean, Chilak has said he has said quite a lot of things, right? I mean, it's this is Nigeria, and the reason why this country is not moving, there's a lot of confusion, right? If you look at the whole things going on here, you begin to dissect them. You can really go crazy because you see. We talk about a country. What makes a country is the system created by the people that are in government. You create system that works. That's the way a country works. For instance, you look at any other country, America, any other country, China, they created systems. But you see, problems that we have here is that we talk about geography, okay, like Awolowo was said. The geography for Nigeria, the people inside Nigeria have refused to mix. The consciousness of what it takes to be, to have a country, the consciousness of a countryhood is not in them, right? Because there are no system that they can believe in, right? Strong system, that is. So you now find that this country is ruled from the tribal side of things. So every tribe and every ethnic group comes, and then they tend to, when they're in power, they tend to look at themselves as being in power. So they use their tribe and all that sentiment to overshadow everybody, makes it look like, oh, a Nigerian is in power, but in reality, it is the tribe of that section that is in power. So Nigeria, again, I describe it, becomes a cake that every tribe comes in and cut as much as they can when it's their turn. Now, let's talk about the fact that, the federal government had done what they did just because this is a person from the Eastern extraction. It's not because Simon Ekpa had done anything good. I personally don't appreciate his person and his activism, right? But if you juxtapose that to things that happened in this country that are still happening till tomorrow. For instance, you guys talked about the fact that UAE government made out a list of those who are
Since
sponsoring terrorism.
2021, 2022.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Each government that has come
apart
from
from that,
Buhari.
apart from,
Yeah.
I beg, let I just quickly drop. Apart from that, David Hunde also had an expose where he spoke about the hijab or the conflicts of hijab, where he did mention the people then with the sponsor terror. In fact, he named name. I remember that I think a Sheikh Gumi was in that name. Pantami and Isa Pantami and his father name were mentioned in that. Do you know that the Nigerian government did not even dig into it? They did not say anything. They not even look at like say person spent energy and time to do any form of
anything that has to do with the North, unfortunately, okay, it's like they are above the law. It's like they are above the country called Nigeria. If you mention, it's only a northerner that can come and tell the government of the day how he feels, and nothing will happen. A Southeasterner cannot have the guts. If he develops the guts, he will never. It will never happen. They will always use him as a mincemeat.
Just hold on. You mean saying that the only reason we make the son of El Rufai gets mind to call our president Escobar?
Exactly. They know it.
Nobody else from any other tribe can do that.
It's a mindset. They will say it and they will get it. Nothing will happen to them. Even the ones that are being raised now, they look at what their fathers and their mothers did, and then they just follow suit, right? And it's a mindset. That's how they train them. That's how they make them feel. They make them feel like, look, you are better than any other person in this country. Nobody is better than you. Even though other tribes can call an average, Hausa person mumu in his own head. But to them, you are the mumu. Now you be that other tribes are the mumu, because when it comes to power parity, right? They have higher power and they display it. They know they hide them. So this thing will happen now. When we say this thing, it's very easy for them to quickly act. Okay, but that other thing, that list where you talk about, the guys, if you look well, the reason they are not interested is because that list, the people in that list, I can bet you 90% of them or more are into government of today. So you can't really mention, if they are not in government in person, they have all their connects in government. So you really can't mention their names. You really can't bring them to book. So you think nobody should know them. Silent? And because they know that Nigerians have, should I say, short memories, yeah? It's very easy to forget, because we have problems upon problems that keep obliterating. For instance, you have one problem, before you can talk about it 1 or 2 days, another bigger problem comes in. You forget the one you're talking about. So we have too many problems that have been swept under the carpet, and nobody, because Nigeria is a country where you wake up every day, you hear different kinds of problems that you don't know which one to deal with. And then the government decides the ones that they should choose to deal with or tackle, and the ones that they shouldn't. It's as simple as what it is. So, but if anything happens in this country, if it happens to an Igbo person, they are very quick to act. That one I know for sure. Even a Southwesterner, it's even sometimes, many times immune from certain problems, certain things that if an Igbo man tries it, I don't know where he would be. And that's why this country can never be a country. Unfortunately, you understand? The reason why Biafra as an ideology will continue to be rife in the minds of young people, even older people, is because of this level of mistreatment. It's because of this level of, injustice meted on the people continuously. It just doesn't make sense. I am not talking about the fact that they labeled Simon Ekpa terrorist financing. It's not what I'm talking about. That same thing could have been done to other individuals that came from other tribes, but they will not. You understand? They will not, because it's really, really unfortunate. If you look at, that's why you see that I don't know, man, but it's crazy.
Thank you. So
It is.
Flagship, before you come into the conversation, I want to go play this cross section of Nigerians reacting to this conversation. And the reason I want to play it is because I think we're able to speak with Nigerians from different parts of the country. I think, different parts of the country, and they had perhaps diverse opinion about this situation. And then it just reminds me of what's going on with the farmer header clash, right? What government is saying and the way governments they handle the farmer header clash. In fact, they call them farmer header clash. Meanwhile, the World Terrorism Index don't declare the Fulani headsmen as terrorist organization. But the Nigerian government not even 1 year there. Well, let's take a cross section of Nigerians reacting to this.
The people that were Boko Haram today, in the past, they were political thug of Modu Sharif. Today, Samuel account is seized on accusation of sponsorship of terrorism.
Sunday go, the guy ready, he danced with their tune and the judge just show. Did you hear anything now? But Igbos are kind of people that they determine if they want to do something, they zero their mind, they go extra mile to do them. That's why they always give them, I don't know what I go call, they always give them a hard punishment.
Tribal politics. There's no amount of emotion anybody could use that will bend the truth. Igbos are into business. They suffer loss and loss of deprivation and humiliation in 1970 after giving 20 pounds by a particular man for us so that we will all be at least exterminated from this part of geography. And today, you seized our money, accusing Igbo man of sponsorship of what? Terrorism.
Igbo, always Igbo. Their own is always different in Nigeria. Sunday Igbo who came out and he declared Oduduwa Republic. He started to fight for it. Until today, he is free. All this war against Igbos, the number of Igbos that were killed during the war, more than 6 million Igbos, is not sufficient to pay for the price of the false accusation. Igbo coup.
The truth is everywhere. Igbo man is not a terrorist, neither does he sponsors one.
This is when the government will say, if you allow America, I think to continue. If you allow things to break down for your own time.
So, gentlemen, you heard the different perspective and opinion of Nigerians on this conversation. Some very interesting ones, though. There are Flagship. I don't know if you're back on. I can't see your video. I'd like to take a reaction to this. Unmute yourself and then go ahead.
Precious, can you hear me?
Very well. I hear you well.
So, Precious, here is one hard truth, in my opinion. You see that geographical region we call Nigeria, or make I use the word when we use the country when we call Nigeria. And this is my own opinion, no. It's the hard. The only unconquered region for that nation, that is Southeast.
Hey.
That's why that they go through what they go through today. They have tried, they got
What's it mean by that?
Okay, I will tell you. In 1960, all right, they got a taste of it. All right. So the war that time, they used the coup and all of that take incite them. And they got a taste of what it was like. They saw the pushback that it got from the East, that they had to ask for assistance from foreign nations to help them. They knew that if they had not asked for that assistance, the Southeast people will win that war. All right? That one is clear. Till today, it is hard to conquer them. In 2017, there was a meeting that the Northern Governors Forum for Nigeria, where I know the internet. I will try to find out one day, put out for your page. They made a comment. You say this. They said Nigeria, as it is. They say Nigeria starts from the southern border of Niger down 250 nautical miles into the Atlantic Ocean is considered the north. So there is really nothing called the South. South does not exist in Nigeria. So invariably, what did they talk? They say, Northern Nigeria start from the southern border of Niger and it go 200 nautical miles into the Atlantic Ocean. So that means that
you never hear that matter when they talk about your Niger Delta oil. Say that the blood of the dead body, then when they bury for north, now it slope down, turn oil for.
Yes,
Never hear that. You never hear boy you don't hear them before.
I don't hear them. I hear them. So you see where the whole thing they come from. They believe they have conquered everywhere else, from north to west to the south. They don't conquer them. The only place when they get resistance now the southeast. So they will do everything possible to try to break them and crack them, but it's still they hard. They don't try compromise, which is what the leaders of the southeast today they do. If you look at all the governors of the southeast, the five southern eastern states, you go ask yourself the question: say, are these people truly from the southeast? They be impostors when he did there, and because their action, show any solidarity to their people, the way that they act, the way that they behave, the way that they govern the people. They show saying a person when he really come from this place. That's a big question when people from the southeast need to answer. So they have compromised, but still, they work. Now they don't blacklist Simon Ekpa and the rest of these people. My question be this: I think our brother here asked as part of many of the questions. He said a lot of things. My question be this: where they get these names from? How did they see the list, the money when they bring, and then also which terrorism now that they talk about? So you mean say people of southeast extraction, they fund terrorism against their own people? It not make sense. But we they see say the death and the actual terrorist activities when they take place for the southeast today, it they incited from other places. The people when they bring cows come there, except I mean not know. They not they speak the language from there. They not get the name from those places. They not they live there. They not even share boundaries with the people. So how come now them and they kill, they maim, but yet they say now people from southeastern extraction now they fund them? This one don't make sense. And lastly, how did they get so quick to compiling these names together and immediately don't blacklist them? When, like you rightly said, 400 names from the UAE came in 2021-22. Nobody talked anything about them. As a matter of fact, even recently, one senator here for US even blow alarm, say, Boko Haram, see where they get their money from. Nigerian government jump into action, say, USID, they sponsor this thing, make we begin to go back and investigate which of these people they receive money from USID, where they, who them be, where they bank from, how they get the money, all these now fact-finding missions when they're supposed to go for, and then crack down on those people. But they are so quick to list Simon Ekpa because their hand never touch him, and Finnish government never give up to him. And perhaps other people from southeastern extraction say, now they sponsor terrorism for their own region. Meanwhile, the people when they carry out these acts are not from the region. Does that make sense? It don't make any sense at all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. For those who just joined us, make I just run through the kind of matter that we don't discuss so far this morning. We said we had told you earlier about some issues happening. Senate illegally suspended me over sexual harassment allegation against Akpabio. Natasha Akpoti insists. And I don't know whether I remember the back and forth with Ren Omokri and what he say Natasha Duam, but I really don't like to lay credence to Ren Omokri, so I usually avoid his matter. Ex-presidential aide Obono Obla faults Senate 90-day suspension of Natasha Akpoti. And then it's illegal. Lawyers and senior advocates of Nigeria fault Senate suspension of Natasha Akpoti. And then other matter the inside there, why 13 senators did not sign Natasha Akpoti's suspension. And that one said they will be, so we'll look into, plus including a PDP now condemns suspension of Natasha Akpoti. But meanwhile, all their members them including that you know about I know your name when they say, do the year have it? I mean, should I go and play back that year? I know here a name. But now PDP is not condemning her suspension because the thing they raise up people. Okay, let's forget about that matter. In fact, the Senate spokesperson talked about her kissing her husband in Senate, that she's using Senate to create content. That one, CD grant. Everything where they happen, just about Natasha matter. What again about that? Yeah, moving on to other issues now. We'll move to Rivers State, where Rivers crisis, police vow to crush militants threatening oil production. I told you earlier that militants group they spit fire as they threaten to hot oil production. As a matter of fact, some group have also urged Tinubu to arrest ASari Dokubo over threats to disrupt oil production. So, meanwhile, the Nigerian Supreme Court have now explained the judgment restoring Amehula-led assembly, say they no ever get evidence where they say them decamp. But not vex. That video where all of them did where they say they decamp, that will not be evidence. I'll be caught, no, they take video as evidence. Because they even show later for that place, say they don't come out inside the party. I'll be caught, no, they receive that one. Or maybe Supreme Court no see that one. Wow, that question where you go ask. But in Lagos State, we hear that Labour Party is trying to woo the 36 pro-Miranda lawmakers ahead of 2027. Do you see the 36 states House of Assembly members that are pro-Miranda having the mind, I don't want to say balls now, to leave APC and become to Labour Party? Would they not automatically lose their seats? Do you see them doing that? For instance, Shilaka, you're very familiar with Lagos State politics, so let me just throw that question
already all those who signed that impeachment notice, all those who endorsed it, believe me, they have lost Lagos already. They will not come back under APC. Because that is how APC operates. So what they need to do now is to begin to look for a lifeline of another party that they can use. And that is why Labour is jumping in on it. See, you need to understand the dynamics of Lagos politics. Lagos politics over the years has been one man who tells you, or your contest, you step down, you cannot go, you wait for another year. That is how Lagos politics has been. So you've not really had true democracy in Lagos State. Why? Because you have not really had elections in Lagos State.
So what did they get since that election?
The only election you had in Lagos State that you can take home was the presidential election. And when they saw what played out in the presidential election, that was why they decided that the governorship election, we cannot allow it to hold the same way. Are you not surprised that Oro came out during the daytime? We are told that Oro is not supposed to be seen by the women. But women see Oro well. They don't go blind. They don't go crippled. Because of politics, because of power, they desecrated their tradition. So that is to show you that APC can do anything to grab power, to be in power.
All right, thank you. So the final, finally, I'd like to ask you, Flagship, do you believe that the attack and the killing of the Reverend Father in Kaduna, Southern Kaduna precisely, because the Southern Kaduna, the thing happened, you believe saying that some kind of sort of persecution against Christians?
How many imams did it kill like that? Now, answer be that. You tell me how many now you don't hear say they kill like that?
Versus how many pastors or reverends they don't kill?
Christian. How many have you heard? So you tell me now, make we count. And then make your deduction from that. How many now we go count before we would not say this thing is incited by an idea or ideology? In a common sense approach, we know they wait for them to tell us, say, now what did the day after be this? The truth is, we really need to sit down and tell ourselves exactly what is happening in our country. We're not going to lie. If we continue to lie to ourselves, then this thing is going to go on. There is no way you're not going to tell me, say, religious inclination on the inside these senseless killings when they go on for the North. Like I said, if you show me the number of imams when they don't kill and compare them to the number of priests or pastors or Christians when they don't kill for that side, then maybe we can have a conversation or a debate about them.
Hey, this assignment will give me, I not go feed you, I'm not vex. I'm opting out. But let me take a few reactions from Nigerians. Sabinus Waje Bechi says they have not finished dealing with Turuji terrorizing the North. When it comes to Southeast, South, their powers will be forceful. They allow Wike to turn justice upside down using Nigeria crime. Barry says, where is his boss? Was Emefiele working alone? Not Buhari should be charged too. Okay, the Buhari should be charged. You do remember that during this Emefiele's incident, we did hear from a gossip grapevine that according to the special investigator where president's being BRINK, say they may see to the tune of over 1 trillion naira for one person account. Remember? So we suppose ask the federal government questions. So why they never call anybody for the past administration to question them about this Emefiele matter, and why not only Emefiele did they tackle head on? Mr. Kenobi, please go ahead.
Because Emefiele. Waiting be name Emefiele. No, waiting be Emefiele name. No, Emefiele.
What's it mean?
Oh. So then they roaster. Meanwhile, person will send a message. He there for Daura, just there, they pick in teeth.
No, he don't come from Daura. Kaduna is there now.
Yeah.
He there charge.
Now where he there? Where you say he there?
Kaduna.
Oh. It's really crazy, man. In the now, that's why they can't just pack everything. Even though, yeah, the man did quite a lot, but person will send them in yoga will send away the other things. Where in the
he took credit on national television that he sent him on those errands. He took credit.
Yeah, sometimes when they talk about this country matter like this, and you go just get headache. I swear. It's really, really crazy. No.
So, Boss Bank says this lawyer, what's in Barrister Sim doing today now? And I won't finish Barrister Sim today. The message is the law says that no one should be stopped from representing his constituency. Oh dear. Okay, I don't want to read all those messages. They finished my Barrister Sim today. I don't agree. PDP is a party of failed opposition party who doesn't know their rights as a party. That's what you said. And see why you've been trying to reach. I said, is there if there is a murder in Senate, will the police not investigate the cause of death? That's a serious question.
They're not allowed to answer.
Very good question.
So how will take off the matter now? Okay.
They go do internal politics.
Okay. Onyeka says, Barrister, please switch off your mic. If this was an exam, you have already scored 0 on this particular topic. I should be a talk, so I don't want to read any message like this. I don't know if I use read this one. It's a shameful thing that we have Barrister talking. Oh dear, you guys stop it. I don't like it. In fact, I need to read messages again. The gentlemen, I appreciate you guys big time. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's been almost a whole 3 hours of marathon talking about Nigeria, and we'll keep talking for the development of our country. You know, they're easy because I always tell people, say the day we will stop to talk, and the day we'll go begin die. So we'll not get choice but to continue to the talk. And one day we'll know say people where they hear this talk, then go feel drive this matter to the people, then way the grassroots them. And that's why I like to localize the conversation in my platform so that we go feel send the message into the right people, then make it for the right action for our body. So let me start taking your pattern shot. Let me start with you, Flagship. Your pattern shot as well. Well, you have become my emergency this evening. Welcome.
Thank you so much again, Precious, for having me. You know, as we talk for home, for what we they talk, say, you not get out Granny Stone or Granny Stone picking strong reach. If you put them underwater, when one drop, then they fall on top of them. It not gonna take time. It will put hole inside and crack and break. So we need to they talk.
Now your grandmother train you.
A strong body. Strong.
We need to continue to talk. It may look, it will look like say it makes sense now. It will look like nothing, but believe you me, it makes sense. As people they hear them, they go home, they think about them, they go to get more energy and courage as we give them the right information. And hopefully one day that one will push them up to stand for what is right and take their country back.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenobi, please.
Well, me, I just believe, say, look, I mean, I don't want to say I hope, but I just believe that something will turn out right someday soon in this country. Yeah. Like Flagship said, if we not talk, wahala go dey. So it's better make we talk. And as we dey talk, somehow people they hear us. And yeah, that's the only way these people where the government gonna say we are not comfortable. Because I mean, look at this Japa syndrome now. Why are Nigerians running away from this country where we say God bless us with everything? Everything they hear, yet people they run, come out. Some Nigerians now they Afghanistan, we're not in day. So long as they not be Nigeria. Why? What in they happen? So this country has to be put together, really. And those who are ruling us, they will know that things just cannot continue like this. Someday it's going to be better. So let's keep talking.
Thank you. You know, sir, as he talks, things just cannot continue like this. I just remember when I seen it again. The way it looked like a total gang up. Exactly. Everybody looked like all of them, they united against Nigerians.
Telling me about Senate rules, like telling me about Senate rules, where you sexually harass somebody and then you think nobody can.
Honestly,
they take you to,
honestly,
I beg.
I hate to say this on air, but I felt raped as a Nigerian yesterday. Honestly, as a woman and as a Nigerian, I felt raped. I felt humiliated. Yes, no. I just feel helpless. Like, you know, when person they do something, I know people do anything.
Stop picking, tell and they make you no cry.
Exactly.
They hit you for head and they tell you that you cry. They tell you, so why did you cry?
Exactly.
Crying a punishment. What happen?
No, you even overcry. You even cry, smoke overcry. Who give you power to overcry? Exactly. Like, let me take your part in short, please. Thank you.
All we all wish for is a better country. We all wish for an El Dorado, a country where every one of us will be happy. The Internet says it's possible. Flagship says it's possible. I'm also saying it's possible.
I say it's possible. I say it's possible.
Precious says it's possible.
That Nigeria.
And so I'm challenging Nigerians. I know that everybody feels bitter, everybody feels beaten, everybody feels upset with what played out in 2023 elections. But at the same time, I'm still challenging Nigerians. When the platform is open for voters' cards, let all of us go out en masse and get our voters' card. On the day of election, let us come out en masse. Sorry?
Even when they see that their votes don't count, that there are people who will snatch it and run away with it.
Yes, please. Let me. Nigerians need to be educated how elections are rigged. If a polling booth has 500 voters and only 150 come out to vote, you think the other 350 will be recorded empty? We need to start thinking out of the box. To beat a system, you first of all need to understand the system and become clever and more clever than the system. So I'm appealing to Nigerians. Go out there, get your voter's card. Exercise that right. That is the only way things can get better in this country. If you're looking up to these so-called leaders you have today, for them to change anything in this country, or you're on your own. Because these leaders believe only in themselves. They are greedy, they are selfish, they are wicked. But the Nigerian people, please, you see that 1 cup of rice, 2 noodles, 2 balls of onions, 2,500 or 5,000 naira, reject it. Because the moment you collect it, you have put us back into what we are experiencing today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Flagship, all the way from, I don't forget what you did again for United States.
I did Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much. Mr. Kenobi, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for keeping this. Barrister Adams for the back. I agree with you, Barrister Adams. Thank you so much. Network, no let them continue the conversation. And thank you, Prince Francis Chilaka. Awesome conversation tonight. I had a good and awesome time. I hope you guys had a great time too, being part of this. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you again next time. God bless you and have a wonderful night rest. And to everybody who joined us, and I know say I love on Ahmad already now. I'll be your girl. If you never follow me like a village people, go and click on the subscription button and follow us, because we keep having conversations daily from 5:30, 6 o'clock to 8:30 every day, Monday to Sunday. We are here discussing for the development of our country. And we know say one day we will reach that Nigeria of our dream. Say even if not beans, they don't quick. So no could cook and small. One day you go done. I love you guys. Protect your mental health. I'll see you again tomorrow evening. God willing. Good night and God bless you.